Quavo. So let me tell y'all what happened, okay? I had a young woman that reached out to me via Instagram during this whole, that last Cardi B interview that I did, the infamous Cardi B interview, okay? And during this time, I kind of looked at the message. I saw that her profile was out, and I said, around that time, my page got deleted, okay? And so this story that she told me involves both Quavo and Offset back in October, okay? And it was on October 6th, they had a concert in Las Vegas. Her and like 5 of her friends went to the concert. They were invited by one of the Migos members' entourages, okay? One of her friends knew Migos, and she was the one that was able to get them in, okay? When they get to the nightclub, they were taken to a VIP area. In that VIP area, Terrence J walked over. They said that he was acting very single that night and shit. And that was a little bit before his crash. Y'all know that Terrence J ended up crashing his car. There was a mystery woman that jumped out, and they both left the car at the scene. Almost $200,000 car. Everybody's still trying to figure out who was driving, because they said it wasn't his girlfriend driving. It was some other girl. But this girl said that Terrence J was definitely acting real single last night. They all act single in Hollywood because they all share each other. So shit, yeah, they single. Okay, everybody's bitch. So listen. So she goes out with her friend. She's just a tag along. She's a nosy friend. Now she has a podcast. I'm not gonna tell you what the name of this podcast is, because that's kind of what broke the negotiation, and also because I was already having reservations anyway because of the way she wanted to approach it, and I was just like, no. If you're gonna leak the story, you're gonna leak the story either leaking your full identity, meaning people are gonna know who you are, what you do, or you're gonna come in full, nobody knows who you are. They will never be able to tell who you are, no pictures or anything. So which is it? Okay? Because you're not going to tell me, oh, well, I don't want to show pictures, but I want to leak my podcast. No. It's either all or nothing. All right? So, her and I were just kind of going back and forth. My team was going back and forth with her, and I was just like, look, it's a great story. I think people need to hear it because, it was some bullshit besides the cheating aspect of it, okay? So when they were in the nightclub, Migos was on stage. They said that when Migos got off stage, they had 2 big Sprinter vans, okay? Migos and their entourage was in the first Sprinter van, and then they rounded up about 20 or 30 girls into another Sprinter van, and they went over to a hotel, the Rio, the same hotel that Waka Flocka allegedly got caught up in by LaBam, okay? And behind that hotel, there's some private villas. They said, if you don't go back there and look, and if the Sprinter van would have never taken them back there, they would have never saw that this place had villas, and they were high-rise villas, okay? And so she says, they all shuffle the girls out. Migos goes in first. They, their bags are unloaded, and then there's like 4, 5, 6 levels, okay? She says, Quavo is on the first level, and this is all glass, okay? So she sees Quavo walk in on the first level, Takeoff is on the second level, Offset's on the third level, okay? And so they let them get in first, and then they bring the girls in the elevator, and that's when they can see where all the rappers are. When they get out of the elevator, they get onto like one of their main transition floors, and there's a heap of security there with lockers, and they tell them, listen up. Everybody has to turn in their phone, 1 phone, 2 phones. I don't care. No phones, no cameras, no nothing if you're going to enter the suites. If you cannot abide by these rules, you have to leave now. Okay? So they ended up checking in their phones. They had security checking in their phones and locking up their phones in lockers. And then they kind of shuffled them off into what suite they wanted them in. Okay? They instantly thought that it was supposed to be an after party. But when she got there, it wasn't an after party. It was kind of like an after selection of orgies. She's checking her phone in, okay? She gets her phone checked in. She's already uncomfortable. She's saying like, look, I really don't feel comfortable leaving my phone. Can I just find the girls that I came with? Because one of the main girls who knew Migos went off with Quavo. Okay, and Quavo was in a relationship with Saweetie at the time, okay? And so she's like, security, I just need to go find my friend so I can get the key card. Our hotel room is in her name, then I'm gonna leave, okay? So they ended up letting her in. As she's getting ready to go in, there's 2 other friends. There's a dark-skinned friend, and there's a heavy-set friend that's light-skinned. She says that when they come up, because all the entourage invited all the girls, security stopped them and said, what are they doing there? And she was like, what do you mean, what are we doing here? They invited us here. They said, no, we can't let you in. You're not on the invite list. She said there's no invite list. So quickly they figured out that they weren't letting dark-skinned women in and they weren't letting fat women in, okay? They only wanted Hispanic-looking women with Hispanic-looking features, okay? And so this girl that was looking for her friend that was with Quavo couldn't find them. She ended up going to Offset's floor just to kind of stand around and wait. She says as she was standing around and waiting, she sees Offset walking. He has a blanket over his head. You know, he kind of looks cold, and he comes into the room and there's just like a bunch of girls standing around. Everybody's fixing drinks. There's no music. At this time, French Montana walks in. French Montana's like, where's the music? I thought this was an after party. So he's like, y'all know where Migos and them at? They're in their suite. So he was like, you know what? I'm getting out of here. There's no music. I thought this was an after party. I'm about to go. So he leaves. She says as soon as French Montana leaves, out comes Offset with his 2 bodyguards. Then he's got like his luggage being pushed behind him. It looked like some damn Coming to America shit. So as Offset is coming into the room, he comes into the room, he stops, he has this blanket over, you know, kind of his head. He's kind of cold. He walks around through the girls, looks them up and down, and then, you know, goes back over to his bodyguard, tells his bodyguard which 2 he wanted. The bodyguard selected 2 Hispanic women because they only wanted Hispanic and light-skinned women, and off they went into Offset's suite, okay, together. Doors closed. That's all she saw for that night. So she says, you know what, she didn't find her friend, so she ends up just leaving, asking the security to take her back to the hotel, and she'll just wait in the lobby with her, you know, the big girl and the dark-skinned girl who got kicked out earlier, you know, because they didn't look a certain way. And the reason they was picking certain girls that was looking a certain way because they was just knocking them off. She says when she gets in the limo, there's a driver, and he's like, you know, I don't understand why you girls always come here. I see girls coming here and leaving every time Migos comes in town. They are the worst. They treat the staff the worst, and all they do is shuffle girls in. These girls thinking that they're gonna get some money. All they do is bring them in, sleep with them, and then send them off. Okay, she was like, well, I didn't sleep with them and I'm leaving and I wasn't down for that. So she ends up going back to the hotel. She says when she's back to the hotel, all of her other friends, when they're done doing what they're doing, they come back, they're in the room. She overhears a girl basically saying that she had protected sex with Quavo, but she got mad and left. And the reason she got mad early and left was because Quavo had sex with her and then went outside and grabbed another girl and came back in the room with the other girl and shuffled her ass out. So she really didn't get mad that he dissed her. It was like, bitch, he told you to go. You know what I'm saying? And so to make a long story short, that was the gist of the story. This happened a few days before Cardi's birthday. And yeah, which was October 6th. Okay, so you can Google October 6th. They were in Vegas. She did provide me with pictures, and this is when shit hit the fan because she sent me the picture of the girl who slept with Quavo, who basically set this whole thing up for all her girls to get, you know, legs up that night. You know what I'm saying? They was going to be spread wide. My grandma used to tell me, I'm telling you, ain't no shit open but legs and 7-Eleven. All right. And so after the interview was done, she tells her friend, I told her, do not tell anybody that you're connected to that you're doing this interview. Because if you do, they're going to tell you do not do it. All right. And so she went ahead and told one of her friends that ended up telling the girl who set up the whole ordeal for all of them to get knocked up. You know what I'm saying? And the girl threatened to fight her. And that's when you saw the post of her sending it to me, basically saying, Tasha, we have to stop this. I can't do this. My job is worth everything. Wanted to bring awareness to this whole situation, especially with them being, you know, so rude to my friends. And I'm like, you know what? I'm thinking them being rude to your friends was somewhat a blessing because what if they had been picked and maybe they had low self-esteem because they were dark-skinned and heavy set? They would have just ran right over them. You know what I'm saying? They would have just did anything they wanted to do to them. So consider it as a blessing. She said, yeah, but it wasn't right that they didn't pick my friends to come in. And I'm just like, how young-minded is this conversation? So I just kind of wanted to put it out. And that was a story that I was going to put out. Well, look at the decisions these young girls make just because they see an entertainer that's got all these goddamn chains around his neck, gold in his mouth, and they think that his dick is worth gold, okay? But it's really worth fucking herpes. Now I gotta go. Thank you guys so much. Okay, now before I go, real quick, you guys know that I am partnered with a tasting room. I highly recommend this. This is a membership, and all it costs to get started and get your first introductory is $9.95. Just $9.95. And once you use the link that is below this video in the description box, okay, it's always there. It's called the Tasting Room, okay? You're going to visit the website. They're going to ask you 3 simple questions. And from that, they're going to curate 6 different bottles of wine catered specifically to your tasting profile, all for $9.95. Now, this does enter you into a wine membership, meaning if you like it, within 30 days, different package prices and stuff, they will ask you that. They will mail you wine from all over the world right to your door, okay? So you ain't got to go out and buy no wine no more, okay? $9.95. I was sipping on the Monterey Pinot Noir. This is in the description box as well. You can order it through me. I have a affiliation with the company to whereas you can actually just type in the wine, they will ship it. And you ain't got to go looking for it, okay? The link is below this video in the description box. And when you taste the Pinot Noir, you're going to taste like some herbal teas as well as some red plum. It's really smooth, really good. I love Pinot Noirs. I'm a very Pinot Noir-y girl. And this honestly complements any of like maybe your heavier dishes, like you like roast beef and things like that. Or you can go a little lighter like salads because Pinot Noir is not too heavy of a red wine, okay? And it's very smooth. Like I said, you taste some red plum as well as some herbal teas. Very, very light. It's good as hell. And this was $15.99, okay? Grown in Napa Valley, California. The link is below. You can purchase it through me, okay, on this channel, all right? Thank you all so much for watching. All right, if you like this video, subscribe. You can also find me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at UNWINEWITHTASHAK. If you have tips on your favorite celebrities, please feel free to send me an email via unwinewithtashak@gmail.com, or you can shoot me a text to 404-382-8865, okay? And only serious inquiries only, guys, okay? Don't come with that BS now, all right? Now, if you want to show some love, I'll welcome that. Now, show some love right there. A lot of people done got text messages from me, all right? And hell, if you didn't like this video, you can still subscribe anyway just so you can cuss my ass out. Not that I'm really giving a damn anyway. Now I gotta go. Bye.